everyone, and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today, I see no better way to spend hump day than to sit down after eating a delicious Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. No, this video is not sponsored by Wendy's. To watch Quảng Trị or Quảng Trị, I'm not too sure how to pronounce the player's name, playing as the Teutons in yellow, getting ready to take on the Viper, playing as the Dravidians in blue. Now, while the players herd their herdables explore their immediate surroundings with turkeys and with scouts and try to go up to Feudal ASAP, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Teutons, we recently saw them, are a civilization designed to take a beating and still stay standing. All of their units out of their barracks and their stables get free extra melee armor in Castle and Imperial. Their siege units can be upgraded to get a big old melee armor boost of +4. Their towers have extra space for more units to garrison inside and fire arrows. And by the way, that applies to their town center as well. Take a look at where my mouse is, 0 out of 25 space for garrisoning compared to the usual 0 out of 15. Now, murder holes and herbal medicines are provided free of charge to the Teutons, so they can heal their units up super fast inside castles while being protected against melee units. And now those same Teutonic castles can be upgraded themselves to have a massive +3 range added and actually fire extra arrows when they're garrisoned by infantry units, which is a big deal. The only civilization in the game that has access to that. Everyone else, you have to have villagers or archer units inside the castle in order for it to add arrows. Now, on the field of battle, all Teutonic units have a higher resistance to conversion, and if they're hurt, can be healed by monks from twice the distance, which does work out well for their unique unit, the Teutonic Knight. This is a super slow but incredibly powerful, heavily armored infantry unit that is just super fun to watch and to support a big, hungry Teutonic population. All of their farms are 40% cheaper than normal. Now, to the northeast, we've got the Viper, who has recently been playing a lot with the Dravidians. I think the Viper's on a bit of a Huang-like spiritual quest at the moment to perfect the Dravidian civilization as he heads home with a gobble gobble. Now, we'll see. This is not the first, probably not the last game he'll be playing as Dravidians. In fact, I have another game I'm about to cast posted later this week, which should be a lot of fun. And like I said, he is on a mission. He is on a tear, trying to perfect the Dravidians. Let's take a look at that actual civilization and see what the hell the Viper is trying to perfect. The Dravidians, very much a civilization that focuses on their infantry. All of their barracks technologies are half price, and all of their infantry units can be upgraded to ignore enemy armor, essentially turning all of their infantry units. And by the way, the Dravidians have a pristine infantry line. Think the Britons. It basically, the Woot's steel upgrade turns all of their infantry units into Lithuanian Lechai, which is fantastic because their unique unit is the Urumi Swordsman, a medium infantry unit that gets a massive +12, +15 attack boost, much like the Coustelier. But unlike the Coustelier, this charge attack does trample damage. Now, to support their infantry on the field of battle, all Dravidian siege units do cost a third less wood. Their cavalry also benefit from that upgrade I just mentioned, whereby they ignore armor, although keep in mind Dravidian cavalry notoriously terrible. And their skirmishers and elephant archers do attack 25% faster, and those same elephant units, not just their archers, but all of their elephant units can be upgraded to regenerate health. Think Viking Berserker, Polish villagers, etc. Now, to help support their military, Dravidian fishermen do carry extra seafood, which on the map like this, I'm taking a look at the minimap, absolutely useless. But what is not useless is that every single time they go up in age, and we'll keep an eye out in a minute 30 seconds, they do get 200 wood automatically for free, which does help them in the earlier stages of the game with villager allocation and resource allocation being super duper important in the early stages. Now, both players off the back of 18 villagers, both players heading up to Feudal Age at the exact same time. Holy moly, I don't think any player has an advantage over the other. That being said, our Dravidian already has 2 militias out on the map. And look at the TC idle time. 0, 0 idle time for both players. Holy moly. Let's take a look at their bases. In the last 20 seconds, primary gold secure for our Teuton, primary stone exposed, a few extra gold patches to the forward position, but completely open to the north, east, and south. And by the way, the Viper is going to hit Feudal and Fort. Take a look at the top right of your screen. 14 wood becomes 214 immediately. Now, the Viper, lately, if you've been watching him stream on Facebook, you know that he very much likes to put on a lot of feudal pressure with the Dravidians, and we'll see if this game is an exception. But before we see that, let's take a look very quickly. His primary gold, a little bit exposed to the front. The northwest of portions of his base completely open, easier to wall off the south, but primary stone secure in the back, an extra gold pile in the back, which our Teuton does not have. And let's see. Scouts continuing. Yellow's got to be careful here. His scout does lose out that battle. First blood going to the Viper, our Dravidian, who is building what? An archery range. Okay. So both players, 21 villager count. The Viper we saw has the bigger army, 4 being a larger number than 0. But oh my god, 4 becomes 3 as he dips a toe into the kill zone of the town center. And look at this. Look at this, our Teuton doesn't even want to wall the villager in entirely. He knows if he just puts a palisade here, the Viper's units are going to have to go through the town center fire to get to him, which means they will take plenty of damage and the villager can just run away. Beautiful play out of Yellow, not to waste even a 2x4 of lumber more than necessary to defend his base. Fantastic, fantastic play. And look at that. TC idle time for both players identical. Amazing, amazing game so far. Stats wise, I mean, excitement wise, 1 kill apiece. Not exactly the most titillating of games yet, but the Viper is heading home. Foot and mouth firmly. I said he likes to put on a lot of feudal aggression. It looks like it is our Teuton who wants to put in for the aggressive side of the game as more and more yellow dots start streaming across the map. But we'll see what 3 skirmishers can do. Probably not much. Maybe on the high ground they can take a bit of better trades, but not with 3 of these men-at-arms. And by the way, those men-at-arms, their health, full health almost. There's one that's injured. Actually, all 3 look like they're injured, but not too badly. So there is a bit of an interesting timing here for both players, I think. I'm trying to think of the Civ matchup and how the Dravidians could fare against the Teutons. The Teutons, like I said, they're a civilization designed to take a punch. Their armor is insane. Everything out of the barracks, everything out of the stable. Castle Age gets +1 melee armor. Imperial Age gets another +1 added to that melee armor. There's Siege, the only siege in the game with melee armor. They've got Paladins, they've got Teutonic Knights, which are basically walking armor, like a refrigerator on legs, encased in armor. That being said, this civilization has one of the most dangerous upgrades in the entire game, where all of their infantry and all of their cavalry can just ignore armor. So I don't know who's going to come out on top here. Elos be damned. If the Viper can hit a early timing before our Teuton gets their economy up and running, and before our Teuton gets some of those super powerful units, the reason I'm talking about timing is because Woot Steel, I know people are going to mention that upgrade, and the Teutons can just ignore, or rather the Dravidians can just ignore the armor. Who cares if the Teutonic Knight, the elite one, comes with 10 base melee armor, and I think 13 total armor fully upgraded, which is ridiculous. 13 armor is just ridiculous. Who cares about armor when you have Woot Steel? But Woot Steel is an Imperial Age upgrade, and so the player has to actually get to Imperial. And if ever you're relying on an upgrade or a unit or a technology in Imperial Age, your opponents always have a timing against you, which means they can basically put as much pressure as possible to get you not to get to Imperial. Although look at this, the Viper here, I think opting for not going feudal aggression, I think he knows he has to get to Imperial. And so he's keeping Kwang at home with just a handful of skirmishers and the original 3 men-at-arms that are still here. I mean, the HP is not the greatest on them, but against skirmishers, our Teuton is going full on skirmishers. He's got 1 spearman who's kind of just hanging out here. Oh, he moves forward. That's why he was hanging out. He knew the second he would move closer to those skirmishers rather, he'd die. But I think the Viper is happy to just apply pressure, keep our Teuton at home while he take a look at his resources. He gathers his resources. He's 100 food away. He can even buy that food and go up to castle immediately, assuming he's got a market. That is a big assumption. That is incorrect. He does not have a market. And so now he gets the 800 food. Now he clicks up. But look at that. Our Teuton 7 seconds ahead of the Viper. Does our Teuton know that the Viper knows that he's got to get his ass up to Imperial? I think so. Keeping in mind, of course, that Woot Steel, it's not a cheap upgrade. I'm just checking my notes right now. It is 1,350 resources, 750 food, 600 gold in Imperial Age. Which, you know, in a team game might not sound like a lot when you've got trade going and you have areas like in Rage Forest that are protected and funnels and teammates to help out. But on a 1v1, if your opponent decides to get all aggro and attack into you, good luck finding 1,350 resources while you're at the same time defending your base. And look at that, our Teuton getting bloodlines. Is he planning a transition into cavalry? Yeah, he is. 2 stables are going to exist when he hits Castle Age. And we'll take a look once this battle completes what the Viper has at home. For now, he's losing basically everything. Not coming cheap, but he is losing a lot. Remember, these skirmishers do fire 25% faster. Ooh, right, of course, as I click it. Where are they? Instead of 3 seconds delay, I think it's 2.4 seconds delay. I think, I want to say. Or 2 point something. In any event, we'll see if he builds more skirmishers. And now both players are in castle. 2 knights already in the production tab for our Teuton. Remember, the second they pop out, they're going to have +1 armor free. And in 30 seconds, they are going to have another +1 armor. So 2 armor on top of their base of 2. So they're going to have 4 melee armor any second now. Now our Teuton is going on an exploration mission. I don't think he wants to really do any damage with these units. I think this is more just to discover what the Viper has. What is he going for? Where are his town centers? Where are his structures? Sees the town center. Ooh, quick wall off by the Viper. Expected, but... Ooh, if he only had a few more skirmishers left, he would be able to absolutely tickle away at these villagers. And look at that. Already. Only 1 kill? I thought for sure he would have gotten more, but the pikemen are out. They are at a +1/+1. But our knights have 4 armor. Now, 4 armor doesn't really play a big role against pikemen. They come with a nice 22 attack bonus against cavalry that's factored in after the armor. Oh, the Viper says, you're not coming in here today. Oh, looks like a bit of a misclick with the walls, but does save it. This might be a bit of a problem back here, but has Yellow seen it? No, he hasn't. So he doesn't know that there's a big opening where he can just run by and ignore all of this as he takes the high ground and engages. But again, the pikemen don't care about your armor. That just helps reduce their shitty attack of 4. In this case, 4+1. It's really that post armor calculation bonus damage. And Kwang takes a terrible engage there. Loses all but 2 of his knights. And they are noob knights. 0 kills on all 4 of these. As he builds his second town center. The Viper already's got his second, and we saw his third up. He is 3 villagers ahead. He is army count 1 ahead. And here is the question. Is he going to rush up to Imperial? And is our Teuton going to let him? Our Teuton, Tiefing Relics, Mr. Yo style already. Has he seen? So he's seen 1 more. Beautiful scouting there. But he hasn't seen the one closest to his base. And he hasn't seen the ones on the periphery to the north. Now he sees the town center. Takes a bit of arrow fire. Knight trying to bust his way in here. Not going to happen anytime soon. Not against 1 knight against the house. Is this open to the north here? No, it looks like there is a palisade right next to a house. A band of infantry moves in, but they are surrounded by knights. Oh, they're going for the monk. They're going for the monk, but another monk is here. Oh, he's going for the pikeman. Good move. Good move out of Kwang. The majority of us would have probably targeted down one of these long swordsmen being the more powerful unit in general, but no, he went after the pikemen so that the knights would be secure. These long swordsmen have literally no attack bonus against knights, so now the fact that they have 4 armor is going to be huge. These 3 continuing to circle. Looks like they got maybe 1 or 2. This looks like a villager. This looks like a pikeman, he says with a question mark, knowing that there's going to be a picture-in-picture showing it. More knights, 10 knights out of our Teuton. You'd think we were watching the poll with Schlachter. No, you're watching a Teuton. These are full price knights, but they are getting a good amount of damage done. Economically, not great, but militarily, 26. I think this one villager that's dead here is the only economic kill of the game. Where are you heading? Okay, so he's discovered another relic here. He still hasn't seen the one to the south. He still hasn't seen the one to the west. The 2 closest to his base remain undiscovered. And the Viper traps. Oh, the Viper tried to trap. That was so sour. 1 split second away from trapping these knights and killing them with these pikemen that are now chasing. Okay, so I think the Viper feels comfortable and secure in Castle Age. I don't see him amassing any huge number of resources. He is 12 villagers ahead. Our Teuton just going balls to the wall knights. He is now 13 villagers down, but his army count is bigger, 17 to 14. And those 17 are monks and knights versus pikemen. And as good as a pikeman is, as good as that bonus of 22 is, their attack speed really, it's like a lot of counter units like skirmishers also attack super slow. Take a look at that attack, seconds between attack. 3 seconds between attack. The knight is what, 1.8? 1.8. So the knights basically attack, I want to say what, almost twice as fast, like 60% faster than the pike. So even though the pike does get that plus 22 juicy damage, the knight does ultimately defeat it, especially in these numbers, although 16 to 18, 16 to 22 might look a little unfair if they do collide. I'm assuming they will at some point, right? Unless our Teuton just uses the speed of these knights. Now remember, the Teutons do not get husbandry, which means they are capped out at a 1.35 tiles per second movement speed. And look at our Teuton keeping an eye on his enemy. Wow, I love this. But the Viper, not his first time at the rodeo. He discovers it, immediately attacks it with no fewer than 15 pike. But that just means there's 5 here exposed. And that just means that the north of his base is exposed. And there is very little the Viper is going to be able to do against structures and villagers with pikemen. Counter units are good against the units they are meant to counter. Against everything else, ooh, I don't know. You guys know my opinion about camels in general. Same with skirmishers. Skirmishers are really not great at killing any unit they're not designed to counter, any unit they don't have a bonus against. But the Viper wants to end this, moving forward with a castle. Has Yellow seen any of this? Sorry, how is he seeing this? Oh, he's got a converted pike. Oh, there was a spy inside the Dravidian camp, and the Viper sees it, immediately plops down his own castle. I mean, Kwang sees it rather. The Viper decides to remove his castle. Wow, beautiful spycraft here by our Teuton with this one converted pike. It's like those images on Instagram, those memes, one doesn't belong here, and it's a bunch of wolves or dogs and one stuffed animal or something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is that there's a whole bunch of pikemen on the high ground. That might be problematic. What are the upgrades on the knights? They are fully upgraded attack-wise for Castle Age, and now they're maneuvering to get the high ground. So both players want to take a battle here. He shows the castle and then deletes it. The Teutonic Knights are out! Teutonic Knights! Oh my goodness. Not too sure about this tower. That's not going to really accomplish much, but the Knights decimate the pikemen, but they pay a price. Not exactly free. His knight count has been removed from the game. 12 knights now left. Their HP, terrible HP, but they are being healed up. Over here, the Viper is fighting back with a bunch of pikemen. He is targeting the monks first. The long swordsman is here, so the yellow pikemen, who I'm assuming are converted pikemen, are not going to live very long. And our Dravidian establishes a castle in an interesting location. Is this designed to secure this part of the map? It's definitely securing the stone. And now the Viper's Mangonel gets, or rather our Teutonic Mangonel gets caught out here. Oh, that's unfortunate. But in he comes with more knights. Their HP improved 250 by the healing of those monks. And let's see the Teutonic Knights. Look at those stats. I mean, this is why the Dravidian has to rush up to Imperial. And look at his upgrade. Look at his resources. Look at his resources. He's going to rush up to Imperial. But he's going to have to make sure he reaches Imperial with a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of gold, which means he has to hold against this Teutonic aggression, which does not seem to be relenting in the slightest. More knights streaming to the left. The Teutonic Knights chased, unfortunately, into a castle, died immediately. Man, oh man, are they slow. Think Persian War Elephant slow. And oh man, another Mangonel will bite the dust with a converted knight here. Pushes the Teuton back, does the Viper. So he is doing a good job. But look at that. Our Teuton is also going up to Imperial. Man, real tit for tat here. Our Teuton with more kills, obviously with the more powerful units. 11 villager kills to 1. He is sacrificing his siege workshop. He says, you know what? As long as you keep attacking that, you are not discovering that I am placing a big, fat, juicy Teutonic castle right here. And he is going more and more Teutonic Knights. I don't know if that's the right move. If the Viper is rushing up to Imperial, he's got the gold. He's got the gold for Woot Steel once he hits Imperial. He's got the infantry. Even pikemen become deadly. But especially the long swordsmen, especially, remember, as I mentioned, the Dravidian infantry line is pristine. They have all relevant upgrades. They have all relevant technologies. Oh, bad, shitty pathing. 3 knights in exchange for literally nothing. 3 knights and what looks like a Teutonic Knight. Teutonic Knight, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh my god, did the villager get the kill? No. It looked like the villager poked him, but ultimately it is the castle that got the kill. 2 relics to 0. The reason I'm looking at relics is I see a bunch of yellow dots out on the map. It's going to be 3. Huang taking a very, very risk-free route. Where's the relic from here? Is it heading... Is it heading back? Anyway, we'll see. Oh my god, again! Man, these players. This is the 2nd time in the game. There it is. Woot's Steel. So the Viper has hit his timing. And now our Teuton is in a spot of trouble. That being said, the Viper's army composition is mostly pikemen. Okay, I mean, they still attack on a base of a 4, attack of a 6 against a Teutonic Knight that has 80 HP is what? 14 attacks to kill this guy? Our Teuton army is moving in. Little does he know that Woot Steel is completed and he is now trapped. Look at how quickly... I'm going to highlight all the HP bars so we can see Woot Steel in action. Man, the knights are just melting. And let's see the Teutonic Knight. I mean, look at that. Even without the huge attack, the pikemen are getting a good amount of work done. Now the Teutonic Knights still take that battle handily. They attack like all infantry on a 2-second delay as opposed to the 3-second of the pikemen. But in a normal world against any other civ, that pike would have done literally 1 HP of damage. And look at them, capes ablaze, attacking the market, telling the Viper, you're balancing jack nothing. You are not. You're. Oh my god, I stopped. Why? Oh my goodness. Continuing the thread of me calling the sky blue and it's starting to rain. The market survives with 35 HP. But the Viper's got halberdiers now. They attack on an 8, which will help against these Teutonic Knights, but not when they're elite. I believe their HP jumps to 100. I am absolutely loving this. I thought for sure our Teuton would have gone heavy cavalry with the big opening of knights, but instead he's going Teutonic Knights. Looks like they slaughtered a whole bunch of halberdiers here. 5 kills for these 2 units. Market finally does go down, and now the Viper's castle is in trouble. Now remember, Woot Steel does only apply to infantry and cavalry. This castle does not get any benefit, so 13 melee, 6 pierce armor is going to do quite well. Not when it's a castle full of villagers, though. Army count, 25 to 12. Villager count, our Teuton is light years ahead. He's 35 villagers ahead of the Viper. And the Viper now has champions. Okay, he's got some good units out now, but not enough. He's only got a few of them training at a time. They attack on a 15, which means they need what? 7 swipes of their sword to kill a Teutonic Knight now that there's Woot Steel. And how many barracks does he have? 8 barracks is pretty damn good. 7 with an 8th one building, I should say. And let's see how this battle unfolds. Yeah, the numbers are just not in favor of our Dravidian, and where the town center full of 15 villagers normally would very much help out, it is getting nothing done against these Teutonic Knights. I mean, look at how little HP it's actually reducing every time it fires on these units. Wow, and another castle being dropped right in the Viper's face. His army count is down to 8. He's got no food. All of his villagers are hiding inside the town center, and even though it is a beautiful town center, that means they are not doing anything. They are not working. They are not being productive. And all of the arrows they fire mean jack nothing. Oh my god. Our Teuton with the Teutonic Knight. Look, if you were to tell me Teutonic Knight versus Dravidian Woot Steel, I would have probably said, their movement speed, really. I mean, this is what, an elephant with mahouts? Persian war elephant with mahouts? Not very fast. I would have said, oh god, why would you go Teutonic Knights against the Dravidian? Why would you ever do that? But Guang, that's why his elo is 2346, and that's why I am a caster. He makes it work. He just overpowers the Viper, gets 47 villager kills. I mean, I have to point out the stats again on the elite Teutonic Knight. Attacking 21, armor 13 melee, 6 pierce, 100 HP. And he's sending more and more to the north. This castle, I can't even click it. That means it is fallen. No more. I also don't see it on the minimap, which means it's fallen. And the Viper just gets overwhelmed. Look, he hit his timing. He got to Imperial, immediately got Woot Steel. The problem for him, he just didn't have any resources left over to build an army. Even though, like we saw, he had 8 barracks. He dies with barely any resources, sub 500 of anything. No more stone for a castle, although could start pumping out some Urumis out of here. They're not very expensive. They're basically like champions, right? Although they cost a little bit more food. But getting that charge attack, especially with trample damage, could be very, very helpful. But again, I love the positioning of the barracks, using them as a wall off for the Viper. Unfortunately for him, the Teuton is here with 30 army supply, 23 elite Teutonic Knights, upgraded rather to the hilt, to the 9s, I think is the expression. And wow, oh wow, what a fun game. So our Teuton, 68 Teutonic Knights, 88 Halberdiers. I mean, even with Woot Steel, this is not a fight that the Viper can take here. Peak APM a little low in the beginning, in the middle rather. Peak APM, wow, interesting. Same exact time, 3205, 3120, so about 45 seconds apart. Economically, I think, what, our Teuton light years ahead? Nah, not light years, only 15% ahead. Gets 3 relics to 1, and basically takes all the resources except wood. I don't think conversions played a big role. Only, you know what, 7 out of a population high of 156 is what? 4%, 5% of the Viper's army got converted. Let's take a look at kill count. Yeah, look at our Teuton, double the kill count, 196 to 104, but 47 villagers. Like I said, the Viper hit his timing, and if he just had a few more minutes without the Teuton literally breathing down his neck with Trebs, castles, knights, and Teutonic Knights, I think he could have absolutely put on a bigger defensive show. Unfortunately for him, the Teuton was here. The Teuton's got the resources and the Viper does not. What was he training right before the game ended? He was training 9 champions. Okay, that's not terrible. The problem is you're training 9 champions. You've got 28 idle villagers out of 85, which means that, what, 30% of your economy is producing nothing. And not only that, again, unlike any other civ that it's attacking the Teutonic Knight with 6 Pierce armor can very much survive against a 6 Pierce attack from a town center. So if this was any other unit, if this was a champion even, what's their armor? Base of a 1. If it was any other unit and not the Teutonic Knights, it would have been absolutely okay. But the Teutonic Knights are really here. And I think this, I did not expect this. Look, who's kidding who? Number one, you don't usually see Teutonic Knights in a game with Teutons, just because, again, they're just so slow. Everyone outmaneuvers them. Any civ with cav archers, any civ with archers of any kind, any civ with siege outmaneuvers them. Literally anything and everything. But they do have their uses, and once they are out on the field, they are just pains in the ass to deal with. And look at our Teutons base, expanded right towards his opponent. Literally a wall of castles ringing the center of the map, endlessly producing these Teutonic Knights. And with the siege, I mean the Trebs, with the castle, the Teutonic Knights, and let's not discount those the pressure that he put on with his knights, despite the fact that the Viper, an impressive hold. I mean, look at this. How many blue bodies do you see on the ground here to how many yellow bodies? 1 yellow tunic or cape against what? 15 blue? Same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow to how many blue champions? Yeah, that's what I mean by the Teutons taking a punch to the face and still standing strong and using the Rocky Balboa civilization. Quảng Trị, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, does take the W, but wow, what a fun matchup. And like I said, expect the Viper to play more of the Dravidians, because the man is on a mission, and when the Viper is on a mission, we all have fun, and it is just super fun to watch. And like I said, there's a very cool game coming up, so stay tuned in the next few days. I think I'm going to release it on Friday, of the Viper just having an absolute fun time. I'm not going to spoil anything. Whether he wins or loses doesn't really matter, but the Viper just has an absolute fun time with the Dravidians. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So no spoilers, but stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe immediately so that you are notified when that game pops out in 2 days. But before that, who cares about Friday? We are here on Hump Day. Our Teuton takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.